Hey, welcome back! I'm really happy you're here again. Before recording this episode, I spent some time thinking about what topic we should talk about next. Because in the previous episode, we talked about feeling overloaded. Not lazy, not weak, just tired from carrying too many things for too long. And after talking about that, I didn't want to jump straight into something that sounds like more pressure. Because sometimes, when you are already tired, the last thing you need is someone telling you to do more, achieve more, and fix everything quickly. So I kept thinking, what does someone need after they realize they have been carrying too much? Maybe they do not need another big goal. Maybe they do not need another perfect routine. Maybe they do not need to push themselves harder. Maybe they need a quieter question. How can I spend time taking care of the person I am becoming? So today, let's talk about spending time becoming better. Not better because you are not good enough, not better because you need to become a completely different person, but better because your life deserves care. Your mind deserves care. Your body deserves care. Your future deserves care. And sometimes, becoming better does not begin with a big change. Sometimes, it begins with how you spend one quiet hour. So wherever you are right now, relax your shoulders a little. Let your face soften. Take one slow breath with me, and let's begin. Maybe you have been spending so much time trying to keep up with life that you forgot to spend time with yourself. You wake up, check your phone, answer messages, think about work, think about people, think about problems, and before the day even begins, your mind already feels full. You move from one thing to another, one task, one notification, one responsibility, one small worry, one small distraction. And somehow, the whole day passes, but at the end of the day, you feel tired without feeling fulfilled. You were busy, but not really present. You used your time, but you did not feel like your time was helping you. And maybe that is something we do not talk about enough, because not all time feels the same. Some time gives something back to you. Some time makes your mind clearer. Some time makes your body feel lighter. Some time helps your heart breathe. Some time brings you closer to people. Some time helps you understand yourself better. But some time only disappears. You scroll for a while, and suddenly an hour is gone. You watch one video, then another, then another. You compare your life to someone else's life. You worry about things you cannot control. You keep yourself busy, but deep inside, you still feel empty. And I want to say this gently. This does not make you bad. It does not mean you are lazy. It does not mean you have no discipline. Sometimes we escape because we are tired. Sometimes we distract ourselves because our mind feels too loud. Sometimes we avoid ourselves because we do not know where to begin. But if every quiet moment becomes something we run away from, we never really hear what our life is asking from us. That is why spending time becoming better is not only about doing more. It is about choosing your time more honestly. It is about asking, what is this time doing to me? Is it feeding my mind? Is it caring for my body? Is it helping my heart feel alive? Is it making me more connected? Is it helping me understand myself? Or is it only helping me avoid my life for a little longer? That question may feel simple, but it can change the way you see your day. Because your time is not just something you spend. Your time is slowly shaping you. The things you repeat become familiar. The thoughts you keep feeding become stronger. The habits you practice become part of your identity. The way you use your free time quietly becomes the way you build your life. So when we talk about spending time becoming better, we are not talking about turning your whole life into work. We are not talking about being productive every minute. We are talking about becoming more intentional, more awake, more honest about what helps you grow and what keeps you stuck. Maybe the first kind of time you need is time for your mind. Time to learn, time to read, time to listen to something that teaches you, time to practice a language, time to understand something you were once afraid of. You do not need to study for hours. You do not need to finish a whole book in one day. You do not need to become an expert quickly. Sometimes reading a few pages is enough. Sometimes learning one new word is enough. Sometimes watching one useful lesson is enough. Sometimes asking one better question is enough, because learning gives your mind more space. It reminds you that you are still growing. It reminds you that your future is not closed. There are still things you can understand, skills you can build, ideas you can discover, ways you can improve. And the beautiful thing about learning is this: no one can take it away from you. The time you spend learning becomes part of how you see the world. It becomes part of how you speak, how you choose, how you solve problems, and how you believe in yourself. So if your mind has been full of worry, comparison, and noise, maybe it needs something better to hold. Maybe it needs knowledge. Maybe it needs curiosity. Maybe it needs a book. Maybe it needs a quiet lesson. Maybe it needs a small reminder that you are still capable of becoming wiser. Another kind of time you need is time for your body. Because sometimes we try to fix our life only inside our mind. We think. We plan, we worry, we analyze, we replay old conversations, we imagine future problems, but we forget that our body is carrying everything too. Your tiredness is not only in your thoughts. It can be in your shoulders, in your back, in your breathing, in the way you sleep, in the way you sit for too long, in the way you forget to drink water, in the way you keep pushing even when your body is asking for rest. So spending time becoming better can look very simple. A slow walk, a gentle stretch, a glass of water, a proper meal, a few minutes outside, a night where you sleep earlier instead of forcing yourself to stay awake. This is not about becoming perfect. It is not about chasing a certain body. It is not about punishing yourself with exercise. It is about respecting the body that carries you through your life. Because when your body feels ignored, everything becomes heavier. Your mood becomes heavier, your focus becomes weaker, your patience becomes thinner. Even small problems can feel bigger. But when you care for your body, even gently, you send yourself a message. I am not just a mind trying to survive. I am a whole person and I deserve care. Another kind of time that helps you become better is time for hobbies. And I really like this one because hobbies remind us that life is not only about performance. Not everything you do has to become content. Not everything has to become a side income. Not everything has to be impressive. Some things can simply make you feel alive. Maybe you sketch. Maybe you write. Maybe you garden. Maybe you cook something simple. Maybe you sing quietly when no one is listening. Maybe you take photos. Maybe you play an instrument. Maybe you build something small with your hands. Maybe you try something creative and you are not very good at it yet. That is okay. You are allowed to be a beginner. You are allowed to do something just because it makes your heart feel lighter. Hobbies are not a waste of time. They are one way your mind and heart breathe. They give you a place to explore without needing to be perfect. They remind you that growth is not only serious. Growth can also be playful, creative, curious, gentle. Sometimes, becoming better means giving yourself a life that has more than pressure in it. A life with small joys. A life with color. A life with something you look forward to. A life where you are not only working, worrying, and recovering from being tired. Another kind of time that matters is time with people. Good people. Safe people. People who make you feel more like yourself. Because self-growth does not always happen alone. Sometimes, becoming better means becoming more connected. Maybe you call someone you trust. Maybe you sit with your family without rushing. Maybe you meet a friend and talk honestly. Maybe you help someone in a small way. Maybe you join a local activity. Maybe you give your time to something outside of yourself. It does not have to be big. You do not need to change the whole world today. Sometimes it is just listening properly when someone speaks. Sometimes it is checking on a friend. Sometimes it is helping at home without waiting to be asked. Sometimes it is being present instead of being half there with your phone in your hand. The way we spend time with people shapes us too. If we only spend time with people who drain us, we may feel smaller. If we spend time with people who encourage us, challenge us kindly, and remind us what matters, we begin to rise differently. And when we help others, even in small ways, we remember that our life is connected to something bigger than our own worries. We remember that we are not only here to survive. We are also here to care, to contribute, to make someone's day a little easier, to become a person who brings warmth into the spaces we enter. That is also becoming better. Not louder, not richer, not more impressive, just more human, more present, more useful in a gentle way. And then there is time for reflection. This is the kind of time many people avoid, because when everything becomes quiet, we start hearing ourselves. We notice what we are unhappy with. We notice what we have been postponing. We notice what hurts. We notice what we keep pretending not to know. But reflection is not there to attack you. It is there to help you understand yourself. Maybe you sit with a notebook and ask, what has been draining me lately? Maybe you ask, what do I keep giving my time to, even though it leaves me empty? Maybe you ask, what do I actually value? Maybe you ask, what kind of person am I becoming with the way I live every day? These questions are not always easy, but they are kind, because they bring you back to awareness. And awareness is where change begins. You cannot change a pattern you refuse to see. You cannot care for a need you keep ignoring. You cannot build a better life if you never pause long enough to ask what kind of life you are building. So maybe spending time becoming better begins with one honest moment. Not a perfect plan, not a dramatic decision, just honesty. This is what I have been avoiding. This is what I need more of. This is where my time is going. This is where I want my life to go. And once you see it, you can choose differently. Not everything, just one thing. Maybe you choose time to learn. Maybe you choose time to move. Maybe you choose time to create. Maybe you choose time to connect. Maybe you choose time to reflect. You do not need to choose all of them today. You do not need to rebuild your whole life in 1 week. That is how people get overwhelmed again. And after the previous episode, we already know something important. More pressure is not always the answer. Sometimes the answer is better direction, because direction matters more than speed. A person moving slowly in the right direction is still moving. A person learning little by little is still learning. A person healing quietly is still healing. A person choosing better time once a day is still changing their life. So please do not underestimate quiet progress. Do not underestimate the evening you choose to read instead of compare. Do not underestimate the morning walk that clears your mind. Do not underestimate the hobby that makes you feel like yourself again. Do not underestimate the conversation that reminds you you are not alone. Do not underestimate the journal page that helps you understand your heart. These things may look ordinary, but ordinary things become powerful when they are repeated with care. One day, you may look back and realize your life did not change because of one huge moment. It changed because you slowly stopped giving all your time away. You stopped leaving yourself for later. You stopped treating your peace like something you would care about only after everything else was done. You started choosing time that gave something back to you. And slowly, your days began to feel different. Not perfect, but more honest, more intentional, more yours. That is the heart of today's episode. Spend time becoming better. Not because you are broken, not because you are behind, not because you need to become someone else, but because you are the person who has to live inside your life. You are the person who wakes up with your thoughts. You are the person who carries your habits into tomorrow. You are the person who feels the results of your choices. So you deserve to spend time on yourself too. Not only when you are exhausted, not only when everything becomes too much, not only when you finally break down. You deserve daily attention, gentle attention, honest attention, the kind of attention that says, my life matters, my growth matters, my peace matters, my time matters. And no, you will not always choose well. Some days you will still scroll too long. Some days you will avoid what matters. Some days you will feel tired and choose comfort. Some days you will know what is good for you, but still find it difficult. That is okay. You are human. This is not about perfection. It is about returning. When you notice you have drifted away from yourself, come back. Come back without insulting yourself. Come back without turning one bad day into a whole bad season. Come back with one better choice. A book instead of comparison. A walk instead of overthinking. A conversation instead of isolation. A hobby instead of endless scrolling. A journal page instead of carrying everything silently. One better use of time can become the doorway back to yourself. And maybe that is what becoming better really means. Not becoming a perfect person, but becoming a person who knows how to return. A person who knows what feeds their mind. A person who knows how to care for their body. A person who makes space for joy. A person who stays connected to others. A person who reflects honestly. A person who chooses time with more intention. A person who is slowly building a life they can respect. So before you go, I want you to choose one kind of time today. Not 10 things, not a perfect routine, just one kind of time that gives something back to you. Maybe time to learn. Read a few pages. Learn one new word. Watch something that teaches you. Maybe time to move. Take a walk. Stretch your body. Drink water. Sleep earlier tonight. Maybe time to create. Sketch something. Cook something simple. Write one paragraph. Water a plant. Try a small hobby without needing to be perfect. Maybe time to connect. Call someone you trust. Sit with your family without rushing. Send a kind message. Help someone in a small way. Maybe time to reflect. Write down what has been bothering you. Ask yourself what you need less of. Ask yourself what you want more of. Ask yourself where your time is really going. Choose one. Keep it simple enough that you can actually do it. And remember, becoming better does not mean becoming someone else. It means taking care of the person you already are, so you can grow with more peace. Thank you for spending this quiet moment with me. If this episode helped you, stay with English Chill Moments with Rania for more calm English practice and gentle self-growth. Take care of yourself today, and I'll see you in the next episode.